influence you in our verse. We're going to do a video on the moon in Aries with the sun in Virgo. Influences on all signs. We're going to break down all the rising signs. So let's get into it. Tune with the mind. Lionheart finite, what I spark, define the salt. Now you can cry till your tears all crystallize. The pineal calcified, mouth is dry, more functions, moving slower. This is monumental on the origins, pardon me, Recreation in Progress album. It ain't come out yet, but you're one of the singles. Y'all can check the music video out, you dig? Check out my video section.
What do you see when you're looking at me?
That's the hook.
What do you see?
What do you see? What do you see when you're looking at me?
Ready face card, like cartel, on point, followed like cartel. Don't be a martel, dreaming, plus stay and stay, 4, 5, 6, with the head.
Magnet, keep it, keep my kids swimming down south. Brother say the fed in the drought. America's most constant. Why you make me feel like I need a monument now? My mind's mental, it's monumental. What you put in your body. Keep it clean, no stains like brushing your teeth. Unlike fluoride in your mind, body made of 1 or 2. Shoo! Like a woo!
What do you see
when you're looking at me? What do you see? Ask yourself, what do you see? What do you see when you're looking at me? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see when you're looking at me? Yeah. Sound body in my piece, what they hate to see. You even hate you free. Now that's a positive. Leaning tower, you still battling. Leading thee like the star from Galilee. Water walking, don't look down or around. Hip hop, moving massacre. Moment, I'm in the future just like Raven. I'm zoned and I'm the Zohan. Ha. Lowercase G-O-D like Heracles. Intellect movement made you think to get it. Vindictive and vicious. In the stream full of vixens. Monumental, it's monumental. Monumental, it's monumental. Yeah. Hey, just for the sake of it, we're gonna play one more song. Something else y'all ain't heard yet. This is called Ether. This is my producer on the hook. You dig what I'm saying? It's called, like I say, Ether, featuring Shadow, produced by Shadow. Y'all go ahead and check this out. This is like my introspective vibes. You know what I'm saying? I wrote this, wrote the lyrics for, you know what I'm saying, my homie. Wrote the lyrics for my producer to be spitting on the hook. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm on the verses. You know what I'm saying? We gonna check it out. 2 songs for y'all in one. You dig? And then we gonna get into the video. You dig what I'm saying? Influenced on all signs. Moon and Aries. I feel no desire. I feel so tired of the lie. Sing it, Shadow. 3309 to the double O. I'm bi-coastal, Beast Coast mogul. I'm featured like a teacher, speak on me. Dep meet the deeper, go for anemia. Top down, screaming out. Money in the thing, if they hate it, then sue me. Worse, so I'm Maybach, I'm straight in the back of the hoop D. Inception, intervention. In this mind space, don't fail me now. In the mosh pits with hot heads, flow like anatomy, molecular, zero gravity. Keep it simple, can't match up. Lest we see 3, lest you see 3. Oh, shout out to 330, yeah. I feel no desire, I feel so Tired of the lie. I feel so tired. I feel no desire. I feel so tired of the lie. This on the newest album, Recreation in Progress. Coming soon, you dig? Got the first album out, Origins. Y'all can check that out in the playlist. But let's get into this video, you dig? Moon in Aries with the Sun in Virgo. So we're going to start out with Aries. Aries in the first house. Then we're going to get into all the way towards Taurus rising in the first house. You dig what I'm saying? Having Aries in the 12th house. So let's go ahead and break it down, right? If you're Aries first house rising and ascendant, you have the moon in your first house. So essentially, you're dealing with your individual affairs or being a warrior for your individuality. Keep in mind, the moon in Aries is all about feeling comfortable being the warrior and fighting for your right. You dig what I'm saying? Fighting for your right to be an individual. And at the end of the day, keep in mind, people might be kind of more in their individuality more than usual and things of that nature, to a point that if you're at work, people might just kind of be in their own little zone to a point where they don't actually want to create balance at this point in time. So keep in mind that you kind of want to be an individual and don't be so wrapped up and trying to create balance at this point in time. So essentially, like I say, Aries first house rising and ascendant is dealing with the individual affair of being a warrior for your individuality. So you want to fight for the right for your personal life, to be comfortable and things of that nature, and be comfortable in your own skin, kind of thing. That's what Aries is dealing with at this point in time. And then moving forward, the Pisces first house rising and ascendant is essentially being a warrior for their values and value systems. So you want to keep in mind, this is all about being a warrior for your money, being a warrior for the right aspect, to a point where you could actually share your values and have values to share, or actually have some money to spend and things of that nature. Don't let other people utilize their shared value of your values, essentially, and be in a space that you want to have to share everything that you got going on. Kind of be a little bit more individualistic at this point in time, and keep in mind that what you got going on in your value system is individual to you. You know what I'm saying? And what you have earned is yours and things like that. And kind of be a warrior for that and fight for your right to have your own money and things of that nature. So like maybe you're like a 17, 18-year-old and you're starting to make your own money. Or even like, I don't even know, depending on the state. Like for example, in my state, you know what I'm saying, you could start having a job at like 14, you know what I'm saying? So essentially you might be in a state that you're like 14, 15 years old, to a point where you're having your own job and your parents talking to you about, hey, you know what I'm saying, you should pitch in with the bills. You could say like, hey, look, you know what I'm saying, this is my money, you know what I'm saying? You kind of want to fight for your right. Keep in mind, you might want to, you know what I'm saying, do a little bit of shared values to a point that they've kind of raised you up under their roof. But if you're 18 and 19 and people are still trying to take part in your money, essentially you got to be a warrior for that and fight for your right to have your own money and things of that nature. Moving forward, the Aquarius first house rising and ascendant is having the Aries in the third house. And keep in mind, Aquarius and Aries is a sextile. So you're going to be able to see the opportunity. Like, okay, I'm a warrior in my environment. I'm a warrior for individuals that I actually like to communicate with. And at this point in time, your environment might kind of be a little bit testy and people might be getting a little bit more upset and angry and things like that, and be a little bit more passionate in your environment at this point in time. You want to be able to see the opportunity of who to be passionate with and who to feel comfortable being in this communicative state, I'm saying, and who to actually take part in your environment, in your neighborhood, compared to others. You know what I'm saying? Other people might be a little bit emotionally charged at this point in time, to a point where it's not beneficial communicating with them. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind if you're an Aquarius. And you're going to be able to see the opportunity of who you actually want to take part in communicating with. Essentially, you're going to be able to see like, okay, these other group of people, this other people in my environment are a little bit more non-beneficial, you know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Essentially, you're going to be able to see the opportunity of who to communicate with at this point in time and who to actually work with instead of, you know what I'm saying, against. And like I say, it's going to be a little bit more passionate, a little bit more emotionally charged in your environment. So that's essentially another breakdown of Aries. It's like it creates that passion and feeling comfortable being passionate at this point in time. So people that really didn't have anything going on in previous circumstance situations, now they're going to be a little bit more charged. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be in that Vegeta energy with the vein popping out their head. You dig? But yeah, so Capricorn, first house rising and ascendant, is having the fourth house being in Aries. Keep in mind, the fourth house is all about your private matters, your home, and things close to your heart. So essentially, at this point in time, you got to learn to go to war for family, and I'm saying stick up for other individuals that can't stick up for themselves. I'm saying Capricorn kind of likes to just be the boss of their own circumstance situation, but at this point in time, you want to learn to fight for people that actually can't fight for themselves, or fight for people that are close to your heart. So essentially, if you got children and things like that, you want to be able to realize that, okay, they're going to be a little bit more passionate at this point in time. They're going to want to go out and get it for themselves, but essentially you want to be able to look after individuals and like put people down the right path and say like, okay, I'm the boss of my circumstance situation. I'm the boss of this business, but I want you to be able to, I'm saying, have your own individual lane. I'm saying, and like, for example, if you a parent being a Capricorn, you might want to say, okay, if you mow the lawn, I'm saying, you dust the house, I'll let you be in charge of your own money and things of that nature. And that's kind of a one way you could look at it. I'm saying, or just be a little bit more caring at this point in time. Care for other people's passions. You generally just care about the dollar amount. But at this point in time, Capricorn, you want to keep in mind that other people's circumstance situations are also important. And other people want to be the boss of their own state too. You know what I'm saying? People like to be an individual as well. Moving forward, the Sagittarius first house rising and ascendant is having the fifth house being in Aries. So keep in mind, if you're a Sagittarius, essentially you being a warrior for your expression. You fighting for your right to express yourself and feel comfortable in your expression at this point in time. So you're going to have this like expressing a warrior mentality. So like you're going to be feeling comfortable expressing yourself and being a little bit more passionate in your expression. So like don't be too overly passionate to a point where you're getting a little bit too running with the mouth, to a point where like you may have you do have the gift at this point in time to be more passionate in your expression, but realize that I'm saying if you talk a little bit too nasty, and we all know how them Sagittarius just like to saying some off the wall things and be that wild card. Don't be such a wild card to a point where you can actually find balance, I'm saying, in your actual group. Because keep in mind, Venus is opposite to that fifth house, I'm saying, and the group that you're a part of, you actually want to be able to create balance with this group. So essentially, like, you want your expression to be hand in hand with others, I'm saying, and be able to actually work as like a gear in the actual machine, I'm saying. So like you want to see how you could actually benefit oneself for being in your own individual expression at this point in time. And moving forward, keep in mind, this is like the waning process as well. So essentially, you want to fight for your right to protect your expression, I'm saying, and protect your circumstance situation. So like everybody that is dealing with the space that they have to shed, I'm saying, sometimes you might have to fight those previous aspects to a point where it's like, dag, I know I was a part of this in the past, but now I need to separate, I'm saying. So you might have to separate from a previous expression if you're a Sagittarius. If you're a Capricorn, you might have to separate from previous ways you were working in the home, I'm saying. Perfect examples. Then moving forward, the Scorpio first house rising and ascendant is having the sixth house being in Aries. And keep in mind, Scorpio don't really get along with too well with Aries. You know what I'm saying? Scorpio is internally passionate and Aries is externally passionate. So like Scorpio likes to see things from behind the scenes and see characters and things of that nature. But Aries just go ahead and express their character, and however you react and respond to that character that they got going on, that's kind of how the Aries is able to analyze things as well. They're able to analyze your character by them being having integrity and being genuine with oneself. So essentially for the Scorpio, they're in a space where they're misunderstanding. So essentially you're fighting for an individual routine and pattern. So it's like, okay, how can I kind of sit back and, I'm saying, see how this character actually plays themselves out? I'm saying, how could I actually play out my individuality and be in a space that I can actually be a consistent individual and be in a space that I can work on the proper things, be in that individual aspect. So essentially you're feeling comfortable fighting for your right to be, I'm saying, have your own health system and things like that. So essentially keep in mind the sixth house is all about your health, work, your routine and pattern. So essentially like Scorpios being in a space where it's like you might have to fight, I'm saying, or like kind of be a little bit more active in your routine and pattern to a point where you actually creating a system that you may be getting up a little bit earlier to be able to go out and do your little workout or do a little walk and things of that nature. That could actually benefit you at this point in time, being a Scorpio. Going out and getting active, you know what I'm saying, instead of just being internally passionate and just seeing behind the scenes and seeing how other people interact. And then you kind of like adapt to that, and you know what I'm saying, it's like categorize yourself and put yourself in the right space. Now, you kind of want to be in your own routine and pattern at this point in time and fight for your own individual routine. Moving forward, the Libra first house rising and ascendant, is having the seventh house being in Aries. And keep in mind, the seventh house is all about your balance, first of all, but also your relations and relationships, right? So essentially, you're fighting for a balanced relationship or being a warrior for a balanced relation or relationship. So essentially the people that you relate with, I'm saying, they might be on that opposite end to a point where you can't actually add on to their individual circumstance situation. You might have to separate from a relationship or relation at this point in time. But you could be on that other end to a point where it's like, okay, I'm an individual, they're an individual, and I can see how to actually create balance with their individuality to a point where you can have a more balanced relationship. You know what I'm saying? That's what the Libra's going through at this point in time. They want to find somebody that they can actually create balance with in their relationship. Moving forward, the Virgo first house rising and ascendant is having the 8th house, like I mentioned earlier in the previous video. You know what I'm saying? Because keep in mind, if you're looking at the Virgo sun, the 8th house to the Virgo sun is the Aries. You know what I'm saying? So they're in a space where they have to fight to rebirth oneself or fight to transform a circumstance situation. So essentially, the Virgo realizes that, okay, the way I actually take action in my routine and pattern, or my individuality, if you're looking at your rising sign, you know what I'm saying? Because we're looking at the sun in Virgo for the overarching thing. We're still in Virgo season, you know what I'm saying? But if you are Virgo rising at this point in time, you're going to have to fight to rebirth oneself, you know what I'm saying? And be in a space to be a warrior, to transform your circumstance situation, to feel a little bit more internally passionate about being that individual at this point in time. The Leo first house rising and ascendant, this is a little bit tricky alignment, you know what I'm saying, for them, because if you're looking at it, they're a warrior for their individual experience. So like the Leo might want to shine too much to a point where it's like, oh, my individual experience is different from everybody else and I can be separate. But essentially the Leo wants to be a little bit more wise at this point in time and see like, okay, I'm in my individuality and these other people are in their individuality, but how can we actually have an experience to a point where we can bring this individuality together and some saying fight for the common goal or fight for a common purpose at this point in time. And essentially, the Leo is fighting to be a little bit more wise at this point in time to a point where it's like, okay, I realize I'm the star of the show, but how could I help other people shine as well? That's kind of like how you want to look at this gift at this point in time, because you have the gift to actually let people see like, oh, wow, this is how the sun shines. You know what I'm saying? Being ruled by the sun, you're able to show other people how to shine and things of that nature. But essentially, you have to, you know what I'm saying, realize that the sun can't always shine. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to have nighttime. So at this point in time, the Leo has to fight through this circumstance situation to be in a more individualistic experience, you know what I'm saying? And realize that their individual experience is akin to others, you know what I'm saying? Everybody go through the same kind of things. Everybody got peaks and valleys throughout their life, you feel me? So Leo, keep in mind that your individual experience is your own, but essentially people go through the same kind of thing. And that's how you could be a little bit more wise at this point in time and kind of learn more from other people's individual experience as well. So the Cancer first house rising and ascendant is having a square, kind of like to the Capricorn, to a point where they have to fight for their individual status and learn to be an individual in their status to a point where it's like you might not actually feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying, fighting for these circumstance situations. But at the end of the day, you do have to be a warrior, you know what I'm saying, and realize that, okay, this status that I'm trying to accumulate and be a part of, you know what I'm saying, or what I want to be known for in my career, I do actually have to be in a space that if it's not benefiting me and I'm actually not being able to build or be the boss, then I got to go ahead and fight to be the boss and things like that. And like show people that I've earned my right to be in this status and things of that nature. So like the Cancer has to learn to be a little bit more passionate in their status at this point in time. Then the Gemini, first house rising and ascendant, is having the 11th house being in Aries. So they're essentially being an individual in the group setting. And Gemini is pretty good at this because they're able to see the opportunity and what aspect to play in the actual group setting to actually have a more passionate circumstance and situation derive. So the Gemini is able to see what actual mind state to be in and what to actually communicate to put people in that space. It's like, oh yeah, I want to go ahead and fight for my group, fight for like what I'm known for, fight for my culture and things like that. So like essentially you're going to be having to go through these circumstance situations where I'm an individual and I'm not really just a part of the group to a point where it's like I'm not just like everybody else, but essentially I'm able to adapt to the group, but also see how to actually get a rise out of the group and kind of be a little bit more passionate in my being a leader of this group. And keep in mind, the 11th house is also your public persona. So essentially at this point in time, you're able to see the opportunity to be a little bit more passionate in what you're known for in a public space and things of that nature. Before I hit this 12th house, you know what I'm saying, make sure y'all hit the like button, you know what I'm saying, make sure y'all subscribe. If you're a returning viewer, you know what I'm saying, don't be no goofy, you know what I'm saying, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell, you know what I'm saying, so that way you could actually get tuned into my videos, you know what I'm saying, it lets you know right whenever I go live, you know what I'm saying? If you're a recurring viewer, you know what I'm saying, it's what's up. But if you hear like 2 or 3 times, you know what I'm saying, make sure you hit that subscribe button, you dig? Because we keeping it more genuine and being in more integrity than 99% of the YouTubers out there. Essentially, other people just go out here just talking about like Diddy circumstance situation. It's like, shoot, like, you know what I'm saying? You're not being very unique. You're not being too individualistic at this point in time. And they're not really aware of like, okay, maybe I need to be in my own individuality and feel comfortable in my individuality instead of seeing other people's circumstance situations and kind of attaching yourself. So like, keep that in mind at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? 90% of YouTubers really got nothing to talk about. That's why they go ahead and say, hey, leave in the comments for me to, a topic for me to talk about, because they ain't got nothing to talk about anyways. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you supporting the real, you dig? Support the movement you need to be in tune with to elevate your mind, you know what I'm saying? Put yourself in a better space. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this Taurus first house rising and ascendant. I'm grateful for all the likes, you know what I'm saying, all the shares and all the comments, you know what I'm saying. If you watching this video on the replay or if you in the live chat, go ahead and let me know where you got Aries participating, you know what I'm saying. So like I could go ahead and maybe give you a little bit more in-depth breakdown. So yeah, peace and love, you dig? If you believe in all that, you feel me? So yeah, Taurus first house rising and ascendant. It's having the 12th house being in Aries. The 12th house is all about dreams, illusions of faith, and also false beliefs. So essentially, you're fighting for an individual dream or individual belief at this point in time. You kind of want to fight for this dream to a point where it's like, okay, I see things maybe being a little bit far out and hard to reach, and I got to have faith in my circumstance situation to a point where it's like, I'm fighting for my right to have a dream and things of that nature. So like if you're around people that can't dream or like don't have a dream, that's where you want to separate from, being that Taurus rising. People that don't have a dream or don't plan on dreaming and just want to be kind of stuck in their circumstance situation and be complacent and not reach for a further goal, those are the people that you want to separate from and become more of an individual to a point where it's like, okay, this is my dream and I'm not going to let anybody else taint it at this point in time. Like the things that I have faith in, that's what I want to reach for, you know what I'm saying, being that Taurus rising. And shout out to Gerald R, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, life's a garden, dig it, and you dig it, you know what I'm saying? Peace and love, you dig? I respect all y'all for, you know what I'm saying, being here, because you could be anywhere else in the world, you know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for that, you dig? And like I say, support the movement you need to be in tune with. My Cash App, you know what I'm saying, if you want to hit me in that, I'll let y'all know about that here in a second. But you can hit me in the email if you have any questions about this live, or go ahead and leave a comment in the comments as well. If you got any kind of question about what I spoke on and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, also leave your rising sign and let me know what house you got Aries participating in. Because we're going to go live whenever the moon going to Taurus. You're saying it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be in a very unique emotion that you're going to be going through. In a very, you're saying, unexpected kind of circumstance situation you actually have to ground. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you, if you need a reading, go ahead and hit me in the email at conscious1347@gmail.com. Or if you wanted to, you know what I'm saying, just go ahead and show some love and support the movement you need to be in tune with. It's my Cash App at CONSCIOUS1347. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, peace and love. If you believe in all that, you know what I'm saying? Stay safe or stay dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and tap in whenever I go live again. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you're going to be able to actually tap in. You dig? Peace and love. You dig?